Hey,
Hey,
cheers.
cheers.
Cheers to you. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Welcome to
Creative Happy Hour
where we get drunk.
on the creative possibilities.
Yes, we do every week, except we were on summer hiatus and
Yes.
we were focusing on summer reading. And we came across a book that is a major bestseller. and by the way, you're wondering what we're drinking. We're going to explain this in a second. We're going to put it down.
It's going to go with the theme of the book.
It's going to go
so we have to start at the beginning.
Yes, we'll have to do that. So the book is called, demonstrate, ta-da.
Girl, Wash Your Face.
We literally have outlined every chapter so that we can not miss. We're not going to be unfair about this. I mean, we're going through point by point by point, and you guys can get pissed at us, but we didn't write the book; she did. We're wondering what the title meant, and we won't spoil it for you.
We won't.
We'll tell you.
Because you have to read it until the very last line.
Well, you just ruined it. I wanted people to read the whole thing and then be like, "Where's the title?" But yeah, so the title's at the very last line of the book, which was a cheap trick, I thought, but that's fine. So we thought that we would, so the subtitle of this book, so it's by Rachel Hollis, who is an author, party planner,
Social media mogul.
social media mogul. She's very special. She has tons and tons of fans. She's a Christian, and which is not our usual reading.
Yeah.
That's fine. Usually we kind of explode into flames. We kind of almost did. So here's what we did. Basically, the subtitle of this book was "Stop Believing the Lies About Who You Are So You Can Become Who You Were Meant to Be." And so we thought we would talk about lies that creatives are told or tell themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason that
that's why we picked this up.
We were attracted to the book because of the
Yes.
subtitle, not because of the actual title.
Exactly. We were worried about actually the illustration. We thought the photo was a little edgy, misleading, something.
We were confused.
We were confused, but we thought we would do this really cool thing about lies that creatives are told and tell themselves. But then we decided that our friend Rachel Hollis, and we're not going to be negative yet, we thought that maybe she whitewashed some of the issues a little bit. So we decided,
so we used it as a framework to, because it's marketed toward women.
Yes.
It's marketed towards white heterosexual Christian women specifically,
Yes.
I would believe.
Which, yeah,
were
some of those, but not all of those.
But also, I think she does market to women that are in the workforce, entrepreneurial.
Yes, but I feel like she's aiming at people who are kind of sitting at home and haven't done shit. And we'll talk about that as well later. So we thought we'd do the opposite of whitewashing.
So we are hogwashing.
Fat washing.
Fat washing.
Fat washing.
Did I say hogwashing?
You did. You said hogwashing.
Oh, that's because I said hogwash a lot today.
Because we were drinking hogwash rosé earlier because we needed a drink before this. So we felt pretty bad about that. But yeah, so we tried out a technique called fat washing, which is something that you do with alcohol and fat. So we have made a chorizo.
I mean, obviously we're on theme. Girl washing
Wash your face. Wash your face.
Girl
fat wash.
Fat washing your drink.
Yeah. Whitewash your dream, fat wash your brain, something. So we did a Chorizo Negroni. And we do love Negroni.
We love Negroni.
We've done Negroni before, and we always say nothing bad can ever come out of Italy. I don't think the Chorizo Negroni came out of Italy.
Well, the chorizo came out of Spain.
Exactly.
So this is
and
Italy
this came out of
meets
some,
Spain's.
Yeah.
Spain's. Wow.
And this came out of some hipster bar in New York. No doubt, right?
Oh, for sure.
Something like that.
But they're fat washing everything. They're,
we'll tell you guys. So we're
we
going to
fat
taste
wash
it.
gin.
Yeah, well, we're going to tell you how we made it. First, let's taste it because I'm like looking at this.
I'm so curious.
Fat.
There's
I'm
all
super
this
curious. It's
chorizo
going to be
fat
so gross.
on it.
I should have worn. Yeah,
I actually think it's kind of pretty.
Kind of. I mean, the Negroni color is always pretty.
Negroni with texture.
Okay, I'm going to put. So we garnished it with chorizo.
Yes.
So I'm going to put it in here and I should have worn orange lipstick because I know it's going to happen.
Oh.
I'm going to get chunks of orange fat on my lips.
We should have.
So
what were we thinking?
Cheers. Let's try this.
Cheers.
Let's be brave.
Let's fat wash it.
Be brave. Let's fat wash. Let's go ahead.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I didn't mean to say that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's a Christian book, though. Okay, well.
Wow.
It's not bad.
You know what?
It's not bad.
It's a good Negroni, but it has
aftertaste of fat.
Yeah, that you kind of melt against your palate.
Yeah, and our lip gloss.
Yeah.
I like the, okay.
I mean, is it keto?
Probably. I mean, it doesn't have
Not that I'm on a keto diet, obviously.
I mean, I always like the smell of pork fat. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But like, I'm from the South, so like bacon fat is very, kind of like mother's milk to me. Okay.
I actually like it.
It's not bad. It's just the lumpy, like I wish we'd filtered it.
Really?
Yeah. If we'd filtered it, like, it wouldn't have that lip gloss
Then they
effect.
wouldn't believe that we did it.
That's true, too. Because sometimes we do lie. Sometimes we tell lies. We talk about the lies that we're told.
This whole book is all the lies.
It is, but we were completely truthful.
One of the lies that we tell you is that
sometimes we make things a little creatively, a little like full. Yeah, we need to. You know, after reading this book, I think that we really do feel that we need to tell our truth. And so, but today we absolutely 100% went through every single step.
We did.
So how do you fat wash something? So this is a technique that's become very popular. So basically, it involves rendering fat from
the meat.
Meat, yeah. So
bacon, chorizo.
Some people do it with like Wagyu beef, which I think is a little obscene.
Oh,
over top. And remember, we saw one with duck, and I was like, "That's kind of cool."
Oh yeah, duck fat. I mean,
a little pricey. Everybody likes duck fat for sure, but we thought chorizo. Why not? We thought it would be easy to find. Not so, because Trader Joe's, thanks a lot for discontinuing chorizo.
Yeah, they don't have it.
Just this week, you had to do it, right?
Yeah.
They had it all the time until now. But fine.
They didn't have it. They didn't have it at Bevmo either.
They did not. Cost Plus World Market.
Even though people are fat washing their drinks, they didn't have any fat washing materials.
I know that was
kind of weird.
That was really lame. But Cost Plus World Market came through for us and provided that. So we did the chorizo, which we basically melted over a low flame.
Sauteed it over a
low flame until it rendered everything it had to render. Mm-hmm. And then we got this very cool Scottish gin.
Irish.
Was it Irish?
It's Irish gin.
Oh shit, it was Irish gin. Sorry. Yeah. I thought it was Scottish.
And it has all these beautiful botanicals in it.
It's super pretty, but then we kind of fucked all that up with the chorizo. But
yeah,
it's fine.
So we dumped all of the chorizo fat into the gin and let it soak all day while we read this little gem. So, we were soaking. We were fat washing our gin. While we were reading.
We're fat washing our brains with this thing. So yeah, we read this whole entire book.
The entire thing today.
So it's fresh in our minds.
Yes.
And our minds are festering with all of. And okay, so thank you to Book Passage for selling us this copy. And
it was the last copy.
It was the last one. It tells you a lot. And we apologize in advance because we're probably going to trade it in for something else.
We already picked the book we're going to get.
We did.
It's just wonderful bookseller there. That she reads 5 books a week.
She reads a lot. Yeah. Yeah, she reads a lot. She didn't listen to the lie that you couldn't do it all and read all
I was like, she does not. The first thing I said when I got in the car is like, she does not read 5 books a week, does
caffeine, speed, something.
Coke.
Yeah. Yes. Which that's a funny part of this, not cocaine, but Coca-Cola, but whatever. But we are going to tell them that we got the wrong book, which is kind of true.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be lying. We're going to be telling the truth.
Yeah.
There you go. So so the fat washing, we rendered the fat. We mixed it in with the gin, and then we added our usual Negroni ingredients, which are our Campari and our vermouth.
Sweet
vermouth. Rosso.
Rosso.
Sweet, for the pretty color. So we got the pretty color. Rosso. And we did the orange slices because we thought we needed something. And I think that was a good call. It was.
Yeah, I mean, it's good.
And basically equal parts. I mean, we basically did equal parts gin, Campari, vermouth. And there you go. And garnish with a slice of... We're going to have a heart attack, probably.
No, we're not.
I hope not. God.
Well, if we didn't have it reading this, I think we're fine.
I know.
I think we're still in the game.
So let's talk briefly about our friend Rachel Hollis before we start going down the rabbit hole. We literally have outlined every chapter so that we can not miss. We're not going to be unfair about this. I mean, we're going through point by point by point. And you guys can get pissed at us, but we didn't write the book. She did. So basically, it's not our fault.
I mean, I think she's quite aggressive in this book, so I kind of get the feeling that she wants to provoke. I get that she's soliciting.
Maybe she's
soliciting
because we read
something to fire you up.
She says she wants to fire us up, but I don't think we got fired up in that way. You know,
I don't think it matters though. I mean, I think it got us to have a conversation in this world, you know, where you can sell a book like this on New York Times bestseller.
She's been a bestseller, guys. If you don't know about this book, she's been a bestseller for literally over a year at this point. She has beat out Michelle Obama.
What?
Yes. She's sold more than Michelle Obama. She's sold more than every single book that made noise. She has sold more, and she's been more of a long-lived. And I think, I mean, I'm gonna be horrible.
Why do you think?
Because she's basic. Honestly, I mean, not to be cruel, but she's basic. I think that she has found who she is, And she's kind of this basic, like she said, you know, people have described her as curated imperfection. And you were telling me...
Yeah, there was an article where they specifically talk about her being a curated imperfection. Right. And we describe curated imperfection just so you don't have to overthink it, because we're in the drinking part. We don't want anybody overthinking right now.
Yes.
As,
well, you said wabi-sabi, and I was like, no, wabi-sabi is way more intellectual and way more classy than that. We're talking half full Starbucks mug is what we're talking. Well,
yeah, we're talking messy hair day.
With the t-shirt that
intentionally,
says messy hair.
With a shirt that says messy hair don't care.
So that's why, like, that's what we're saying. You know, summer reading for us is an opportunity to sometimes read things that we wouldn't necessarily read, like during our real life, during the year. We kind of picked this up. I think, well, we didn't know whether we'd like it or not. We thought we would be able to do something with it, and then our conclusions are our own, and it's fine. But I think summer is a time to branch out and read things that maybe are a little bit more basic than what you would do. Yeah. Or maybe a different
more like
genre.
Relaxing.
Yeah, like relax your brain, but reach out at the same time. Like, I think that's kind of... It's a cool opportunity. So I'm glad we did it, even though we got kind of feverish at the end, because we were just...
Oh, we were strung out because we literally read the entire thing today.
I was sweating. She asked me...
We would read it out loud to each other.
We did. And I was taking notes. She asked me if
I mean, Rachel Hollis is probably jizzing in her pants if she heard that. Like, reading it out loud.
She's jizzing out of the fire hydrant on the cover. I mean, we did. We read it out loud to each other, which I highly recommend if you want to get, like, the full effect out of something. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
No, seriously, the reading out loud thing was and we would do all these voices. Like, I love to read out loud because then I can accentuate things.
Well, she accentuates. She's got the italics. So she says a lot of... Let's talk about this stylistically first, shall we? Let's break it down that way. Let's be pretentious bitches, right?
Come on, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's go there.
So, okay, Rachel Hollis doesn't have a college degree, and I'm not going to say that's a problem, except when it is.
She's doing better than us financially.
She is, yeah.
And you have a PhD and I have a bachelor's degree, and we're poor as fuck.
Exactly, poor as fuck. Like, PhD should be like, it should be a PhD.
I mean, honestly, maybe we didn't get it. Maybe we don't
maybe we didn't get it. You're right. We might just not
Maybe
get it.
we are overthinking it. Maybe it is that simple.
Probably. I mean, I was
getting pissed off at her the whole time.
I know, me too. Like, she has a bunch of events where she'll jump up and down and play, like, really cheesy 80s music that probably she wasn't even around for, because she keeps stressing that she is 35 and acting like it's super old and like she has all this experience. And we're like,
she keeps using things like, it took me a lifetime.
It took me a lifetime. It took me 13 years to work through it. You're like, 13 years is nothing. Like, are you kidding me? We would never, I mean, that's one of the takeaways where I'm like, shut the fuck up about age. And it's something
we promised we wouldn't be negative from the beginning. And
I know,
look at us.
Look at us now.
We're just like,
I know.
Like, I love
vomiting. Well, we can't help it. I mean, you know, when you have a reaction, we're kind of lucky. Like, when you read something right away and you're able to give your reaction to it instantly to the whole book, and you're able to download all this, like, I think that's kind of fun. And this is better than any book review. Like, we're going to be like her because, okay, stylistically, first of all, so we said not highly educated. So, which is great, because I think that that's an accessible thing. I mean,
she reads a lot, so her vocabulary is extensive.
Okay. Yeah, she didn't have a great editor because she misuses some words and misspells some stuff because, you know, like in the throes of something, she spells THROWS, you know, which I hate. That's a huge issue for me. That's fine. Whatever. She does that. She also is very arrogant. Is that what we were going to say?
Yeah. So I had a problem. There was a lot of arrogant.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's this one section where she goes on to a marathon that her friends are running.
Yeah.
But she purposely doesn't run the marathon because she's so good at running.
She's so good at running.
That she didn't want to be competitive.
Yeah. But then there's a lot of contradiction, right? Because then she says a few chapters later about her husband wanting to run and that she's like, y'all. And so there's a lot of y'all too.
Yeah. There's a lot of y'all, which I thought was weird because I didn't.
There was no y'all at the beginning, and then the y'all comes. She wants to remind us that she's a small town girl.
That she's casual, but she can go to like Academy Awards parties at the same time that she's really not glamorous.
Yeah, so she tells us that she's so simple and not glamorous, yet she's going to all these awards shows.
The thing that I think is unnerving is that she wants to create this element of being relatable to everybody, but I guess what we're saying as creatives is that you can't relate to everybody, and not everybody's going to relate to you.
Pick a lane. And also pick a lane that's sincere. is what I think. The problem is, I
think she's sincere. I do.
Do you? Because I feel like she is sincere to where she thinks she came from, what she's supposed to be as a Christian from a small town.
I think she believes
she thinks that's her.
Yeah, I do. I do get
I think
that.
She's not introspective enough. She's not looked at who she is.
It's not deep enough. Mm-mm. Yes, I agree with you. But do I think that she thinks that she did do that evaluation? I think that she thinks she did.
I felt that the y'all was used intentionally when she's trying to act like she's more simple than she is. Like she's like y'all, and then she's like, I'm gonna use italics to stress things, and then she puts italics everywhere. It's just.
No, she's creating this image or this story that you can relate to her, that she's down to earth like you and I. And I would argue that she's very superficial
and very conscious of her image and every single thing she's doing and how much money she wants to make and how successful she wants to be. And throughout the book she kind of yells at you for being ambitious enough. Like, get your ass up. Yes. You're the one that the message is this. Girl, you're responsible for your life. Only you are. And then she's like, only God's responsible for your life. And you're like, more contradiction. Yeah. This is crazy. So let's, instead of just ranting, let's go chapter by chapter. And along the way, just so that we're not just negative glass half empty little Nelly bitches, we are going to talk about how some of the things that were positive and how we think it relates to creatives. And we're making it so you don't have to read the book and give her more money.
And ultimately, ultimately, I do think, we live in a time where, she's kind of talking about us like this renaissance for women where, this is the time, whether you're a Christian woman or a heathen woman. I'm making the delineation, which I think you and I are heathens.
We're heathen. But, I think we're pretty safe to say that we're heathens.
But I think, it's that time where we can all, kind of create our reality, and that it's really our responsibility.
Right, but then she kind of tells us that we can't. So, okay, let's start. We're going to go through and we will show you guys what we mean so that you don't say that we're just being subjective little brats.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely
are subjective little brats.
Yeah.
But not in this case. So, first of all, introduction. She starts off pretty straight up.
Hey girl, hey!
Hey girl, hey! That's the first sentence.
Yeah.
Hey girl, hey! We're like, oh my god, that's so relatable and cute and not. But then she says that she's not into macrame or
knitting, which kind of pissed me off because
away.
She's basically like, if she were into that,
she would be the best.
Yeah, she would be the best crocheter.
But she's not into it.
But I'm into it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Can we
talk about fiber frequencies right now for a minute?
Yes. Let's talk
about we are creative bitches.
We're creative bitches.
And this is purely.
This is creative happy hour.
So I know you want me to get hoodie.
Yes, get hoodie. Look at her. She's such a hood rat. She's so cute.
Look at this.
Look, she's a little rainbow riding hood, and
rainbow riding hood, and it's the day after Pride.
Yes.
So I'm very.
She's proud.
I'm proud.
She's macrame and proud.
I am.
Look at
crochet.
It's beautiful. It's really cool. I love it. I think that you're vibrating on your own frequency, and I think it works. So you're little.
So I'm rocking.
You're Micah in the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I love it.
Ooh, I like that. That's my band name.
See?
Yeah.
I like it. I'm into it, and I didn't do anything cool, but it's fine.
She does a lot of cool shit.
I was gone, and I was driving across the country with my son.
Gone girl.
Yeah, I was gone girl, and
hey girl,
now
hey.
I'm hey girl, hey. So yeah.
But I am getting a little warm talking about this.
Peel it off. Nudity is good. So she says that she's not good at creative stuff, and that's not what she chooses to do. She chooses to do lifestyle stuff.
Oh yeah, lifestyle media
stuff.
Yeah.
And so she says that her formula is this balance. Well, she doesn't say it. Somebody else said it. Her formula is the balance of real and aspirational, of dolling up and having Bell's palsy, which I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So she talks about the these contrasts between if she has a glamorous moment, then she follows it up with a non-glamorous moment.
And she actually spells that out, that's her social media presence, is like glamorous moment, real moment, except there's a lot of brand names and basic shit in there.
But the problem with that is that honestly, like, and I was saying to you at the time, like, there's no woman that, and we're talking about women because she markets towards white, heterosexual women.
And that's not an exaggeration. I mean, that is...
No, it's clear who it's marketed to. And so, she spells out this thing that women have known from eons. Like, every woman knows that, are like, we have tweezers for a reason, you know, like wherever, you know, she even has a whole section on like shading her toes.
Yeah, we're going to get into that.
But I think,
yeah,
you know, I think she kind of spells out like, ladies, you know, I know you have these like personal female insecurity secrets, but I mean, every woman that's ever hung out with other women already knows that. We already talk about our bad skin and our bad hair and
there's a lot of
our bad wax issue or whatever, you know, like
there's a lot of obvious stuff I find in here, and
I do think maybe those are things that women don't talk about. I don't know, maybe because we're hippie, you know, hippie bohemian artist types.
Doesn't she talk about hippies at some point? She does. Okay,
maybe it's because we're like hippie bohemian artist types that we've already covered that, and it's redundant for us.
Well, okay, so this is an interesting thing. So I think that we're starting to see straight on from the introduction, we start to understand that maybe we're not her audience. And I think that as creatives, I think sometimes it's important to see like, who is my audience? And just like she's being unapologetic to who her audience is, and it's just not striking a chord with us, or it's striking the wrong chord with us because we're so clearly not her audience. Yeah. But look, we're still talking about her. So like, that's good if you can be a creative who actually chooses your audience, whether that pleases, you know, the multitudes or not. If you've got your people who are into what you're doing, that's awesome. Or if you're happy with what you're, that's cool.
Well, be able to make the distinction, I think is what you're saying.
Totally.
Yeah. Be able to make a distinction of what drives you and inspires you and what doesn't. You know, and I think that's what we're doing here.
That's what we're doing, and that's what she does, except then I think she mixes it all together. She talks about mindset. Fine. She talks about financial. She talks about parenting. She talks about
sex.
Health. She talks about sex, which is, this is the best
That's the best
ever.
chapter in the book.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later. And she talks about being in control versus out of control. But I think she's all over the place. And we felt that way when we're reading the book. Like, when we do Creative Happy Hour, we like to think, and we're going to stroke our egos. Like, she strokes her own constantly. But we stay on this creative thing. Like, we use this creative angle to keep on
theme
a little bit. I mean, sometimes the alcohol, and we'll blame the alcohol, you know. Which,
I mean, at least we have something to blame.
Totally. Because she says she doesn't drink that much anymore. I'm like, whatever. Except for Diet Coke, which she stopped, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, so then she says that...
It's too good for us.
First she says that you're completely in control and that only you can decide. And then she says in the same paragraph that God's in control. And that only God has the choice. I'm just
she talks about God's timing.
Which one?
Perfect.
No, well, this is that's later.
That's later. That's later. I got it fucked up. I'm like, I'm mixing up chapters.
She's mixing chapters. So then she uses your favorite metaphor,
which is
the butterfly.
Yes, the butterfly comes up a lot.
Then she said she got a tattoo, and we were sure she got a butterfly.
We were like, we betted money.
We did, and we lost.
And I don't even have any money. Shit. We betted money that the wrist tattoo
was a butterfly.
It should have been a butterfly.
I know, she's such a dumb bitch. She missed an opportunity. Her wrist tattoo says mogul. Not like a ski hill.
Keep going because this is going sideways on us.
It is.
Drink your drink, even if you hate it.
So then she had this deep, dark secret, which is she screams at her children. She mentions this in the introduction and never talks about it again.
Yeah, I just glossed over that. Didn't make any sense.
Then she mentions her back fat and how she sometimes pees her pants. And we're like...
No, she mentions peeing her pants a lot.
A couple times. Yeah. But like, who cares? I mean, who cares? People, just so you know, people pee their pants sometimes.
Yeah.
And we'll pee our pants if we laugh too hard. People pee their pants because they sneeze. We don't give a shit. Like, it's not
something.
You know,
I mean, she talks about like after you have kids, your shit's blown out. Yeah. And you, obviously.
Like, who doesn't think
I sneeze and pee my pants, and I don't actually care.
Yeah, like, who doesn't think that? Like, I think that she's writing to people who are very sheltered, and just don't have those conversations because none of us think that doesn't happen. But anyway, she does. Okay. Chapter
We're also a lot older than her.
Oh, a lot older.
I'm a good 10 years older than her.
Which she says her husband's 6 years older, and she thinks that's like a huge age difference.
Well, it was when she was 19 and she hooked up with him.
That's right. And she was getting booty called and whatever. We're going to talk about that later. We're not just being cruel.
I don't even know if this...
We're not just like slut shaming the Christian virgin that she said she was. We're so mean. Oh my God. Her lawyers are going to come out.
Well, I was just getting pissed because... I was really, really trying to...
We wanted to like this book.
I wanted to be inspired by this book.
We spent...
$26 plus tax.
Yeah, that's right. $22.99 plus the tax. So yeah, we spent that on this book.
I have to check this because this is the woman that's taking my daughter.
She's checking her text while we record. Just saying, not very professional.
Alex wanted me to tell you that she does not have her cell phone. Okay. I will pick her up at 6:15.
Now you know what time we film.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you the address where we film so you can like come and join us. And then if you want to write a text to Micah, you can just, you know.
I had to respond to that because my daughter is getting driven.
Because she's a mom.
Yeah.
And we can't do it all.
A working mom.
A working mom. You got to juggle. You got to make choices in life. And that's what she's doing.
I'm doing this heathen activity instead of driving my daughter to ballet seminar.
Whatever. Okay, yes. I think I like the heathen. Okay, chapter 1.
Gather your strength.
Yeah, so these are all lies. So the chapter headings are all lies.
Which I like that. I like that. I like that
I liked that too.
I like the structure of it.
I was totally going to buy in 100%.
Yeah.
But then, you know. So if you just took the chapter headings and the takeaways, like maybe it would be good. But
well, so the biggest problem I had with that is that she would say, this was the lie that I tell myself.
And then she starts rambling.
But she never talks about the anti-lie.
Yeah, and she just starts rambling and never gets to the actual thing, and it's all over the place. And we're going to illustrate this a little bit.
I also liked how she has things that helped me.
Yeah, that was great. Like the lie and the things that helped me.
Yeah, the structure of the book was pretty good.
Except the whole body of the book is not great. It's whatever. Okay, so lie number 1. Something else will make me happy. So something else will make me happy. And we thought as creatives, we're like, oh, that's interesting. So maybe that means, you know, if I only finish this book, or if I only finish this painting, or if I only get this level of success as a creative entrepreneur, that's going to make me happy. And I think
if I make money on this, or I get enough followers on Instagram,
so
or if enough people listen to my podcast, then that will make me happy.
Right. So it's going after these steps or these
Which
results.
is a lie. I mean, those things are, we all know that those are all false terms to determine your own happiness.
Absolutely.
That it has to be deeper than that.
Exactly. And so she, you know, the point that she makes eventually is that she says that you should take responsibility for your own happiness and not be using these things. However, what she uses to get there, she starts with peeing her pants.
Yeah.
We said this. Then she talks about self-deprecation over trying to be relatable. And then she puts a bunch of sentences in like random order. And then she talks about her brother's suicide, which I was like, oh, that's part 3 in trauma after peeing your pants. And
no, that should have been the only thing that she talked about, I think.
And then she talks about a traumatic childhood and like whatever. So then she has the takeaway, which is stop comparing. You know, she says comparison is the death of joy. She's been accused of plagiarizing, and I'm thinking that might be somebody else's, and we should find who that is. Comparison is the death of joy. She didn't write that.
Yeah, she didn't.
She did not. Surround yourself with positivity. So this is something that we thought as creatives is important, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you think?
We've talked about that before. Where
we completely have. So what do you think?
Don't hang out with people that are naysayers, or
yes, exactly.
Don't hang out with us if you wrote this book.
That's true too. Or like don't surround yourself in like cruel critics, or don't surround yourself with jealous people. Like if you surround yourself with creatives who are successful, that is gonna rub off. It rubs off on you in a lot of different ways.
Well, you get supported. You get you're hanging out with people that are like, hey, I like what you're doing, or you know, maybe they don't like what you're doing, but if they're successful, you get a roadmap kind of to what you should be doing. And sometimes when people don't like what you're doing, I mean, look at it, open your eyes. Yeah. Instead of being like, they're just Debbie Downers, you've got to sometimes look at it and take what is it that they don't like?
What is it? Are they, is it either that the quality of my message or my output is not good, or is it that I'm just not catering to the right audience? Am I hanging out with the wrong people? I mean, these are things to think about. And I thought that was fine. And she says, you become what you consume. And that's absolutely true.
Yeah, it's true.
Consuming shitty stuff. So, we're going to be looking at what we read with a different intentionality from now on. But that's very true. If you're consuming shit, you're going to be producing shit. Absolutely, right? Yeah. If we're consuming, chorizo fat...
We're going to be some fat wash bitches over here.
Fat wash bitches. Yeah,
that's going to be my new band name.
That's our band name, Fat Wash Bitches.
Fat Wash Bitches. It's not easy for you to say after you've had a couple of these.
Fat Wash Bitches. Absolutely. So then she says this thing that's figure out what makes you happy and do those things.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Obvious. I mean, it is a little cliche, but I don't mind that. That's fine. Like that
I don't
bears reminding. However, none of her chapter was about this. So it comes at the end of the chapter like boom, and you're like, where did this come from? I feel like she just barfed out a bunch of sentences.
Yeah, it wasn't I felt like there was some
Like her editor should get fired is what I thought.
Well, I just don't feel like I don't feel like she actually had to. I felt like she had to have some clearly defined sentences that said blah, blah, blah. And then, but they didn't really have to have a lot of content.
No.
And I think that is essentially kind of what's going on culturally right now. This is kind of an example, this kind of a lens into our culture, is that we don't want anything that's too complicated.
We want listicles. We talked about listicles before.
We want
headings.
We want bullet points of what to do and how to do it. We want what is it? Girl, get off the couch and what is it she says in the introduction?
Girl, kiss my ass.
The truth. You and only you are ultimately responsible for who you become and how happy you are. That's the takeaway. That's essentially
there you go. That's
all that she had to say.
That's the book. And what's interesting is I think, and also there are companies out there right now that basically their job is that they will give you the cliff notes of all of these self-help books. And I think she's almost banking on the fact that we're reading the headings and skipping ahead and not realizing that she's just populating. I mean, she might have, that filler text, like the Lorem Ipsum shit. She could have written that.
But that's the culture that we live in right now.
It is.
It's a cute picture.
Yeah.
And
I don't know what I don't know what the it's like the fire hydrant. I don't know what it has to do with the washing your face, but whatever. It's cool.
Well, I think it's like there's an emergency fire that needs to be put out. That is her.
Yeah, maybe in like the Converse product placement.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some kind of
message
symbolism going on there. But
too bad there's not a butterfly. Is her mogul tattoo visible? It's not.
No.
Okay. Just checking.
But maybe in another page we look at. Oh no, she's specifically hiding it.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, kind of disingenuous. Whatever.
We didn't look at these people.
We didn't look at the people.
We should have.
We will. We will at the end. We can just read it live. We'll do that. So, okay, let's start with chapter 2. Because we've got lots of chapters.
Yeah.
Chapter 2. The lie in chapter 2 is I'll start tomorrow. Okay. This, just, reading the heading, we're like, it's creative.
It's a classic creative, it's classic creatives mantra.
Completely. Procrastination is such a creative plague because, you're like, I'm just too, I'll wait until the inspiration strikes, or I'll wait until I've got my materials, or I'll wait until
I make more money, or I'll wait until I get that job, or I'll wait until I get more sleep, or I'll wait until the kids are out of the house and they go to college, or I'll wait until I get my divorce, or
there's so many excuses and reasons.
There's every reason you can wait, and I agree. That's a good topic.
It was a good topic
for anything. For anything, it's good to address
completely.
But however, she uses examples of
shittiness, like she used
diets.
Well, not only that, but basically she says that she went out for dinner with her friends. This is the best. She meets up with her friends. They go out for drinks, and the drinks
they go to happy hour.
They go to happy hour. We're like, happy hour. So we were still
can relate to that.
Yeah, we were still almost on board at this point. But then, we realized that we were going to be super disappointed. So she goes to this happy hour, turns into dinner, turns into more drinks. Cool. We're like, yay.
We're like, parties, having fun.
She's cooler than we thought.
Yeah.
Except then she goes home and she gets on the treadmill.
She smooches her husband and then she goes down to the basement to get on the treadmill.
Yeah. And she runs 4 miles?
Something like that. Yeah.
4 miles.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. And then she posted on social media because of course she does, because that's who she is.
Yeah.
And then one of her friends is like, girl, did you actually just run 4 miles after?
What is your problem?
Yeah. And she's like, of course, because I made a promise to myself. And who would I be if I didn't keep my promises to myself? You would be somebody who actually enjoyed a dinner with your friends, hung out with your husband, did normal things that a normal person does.
And loved yourself regardless. I mean, there is an underlying message of love yourself, in spite of this and God's timing and all of this stuff.
But then she's very inflexible.
Then she's anti-love yourself regardless.
Always.
She's judging herself. She's super ambitious in the wrong moment. Not on God's time, on her time.
Her time. It's all her time.
It's very ambitious in ways that I think are just self-destructive.
Completely. And then she literally comes out and says that she does not respect her friends who say that they have these creative or other projects who fall through on them.
She uses the example of the Pam who says she's on the Whole30 diet.
Yes. And I was
like, then she sees her 2 weeks later eating a meat lover's pizza in the staff room.
Yes.
And she's like, what happened to the Whole30?
Yeah, and she literally comes out and says, hey girl, hey, I thought you were on the Whole30. And I'm like, how judgy.
Busted! Fat bitch. Busted.
Fat washed.
Fat washed.
You're fat. freaking petty can you be? There's a huge difference between your friend coming to you and saying, I feel so bad. I wanted to do this project and I stopped. What's going on with me? And you saying to your friend, you know, girl, like, I see you doing that. I've seen a pattern. Like, you really need to be accountable to yourself. Like, that's one thing of supportive friendship and being
Put the
cool.
Pizza down.
But like, but
walk away from the meat lovers,
like, that was so pretentious. And then she's like, she goes, well, and I don't trust those friends anymore. And I don't want to hang out.
Yeah. Can you try? You can't trust these people.
I mean, come on. And then she said that, you know, she stopped drinking the
Diet
Circle
of Trust. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, the Circle.
Remember the Circle of Trust?
The Circle of Trust. So then she says about changing patterns of behavior, and she uses the most basic, pathetic example of her Diet Coke addiction. We were talking about the Coke addiction before.
There are people that get addicted to Diet Coke. I was never one of them. I always thought Diet Coke was disgusting. Yeah, I think it's disgusting too, but who cares? Like, that is the pettiest example of anything. I mean, it's like, could you, I'm addicted to almond frappuccinos. Like, who gives a fuck, bitch? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's crazy. I mean, the most enjoyable part of this book is how much it pissed off Karena. Like, that part for me, because she's a writer and does writing groups all the time, and she was going ape shit. Like,
I was, and I'm not
like,
even
you had like stomach problems in the middle. You got like a migraine headache.
I
tried to make her a glass of wine. She was too sick to even drink it. It was so true. It was super
even Fiona was upset. See, she's barking. Fiona was really sad.
Yeah.
But then, so she's saying, like, have all these huge goals, do all this shit, and she's talking about how ambitious she is. And then she says, however, start with one small goal. And I'm like, okay, well, that's really, you know, that's true, but that's not what you were saying up until now. And like, I mean, as a creative, creatives should.
Well, she talks about quitting. She uses the Diet Coke as her small goal of like quitting it for 30 days and like.
I mean, come on. Yeah.
No, I mean, it was wasted on me because
you're so
I'm like, I'm not going to do that for 30 days.
Yeah. And then she says this great thing. This is so good. And this is so the choosing your commitments. Be careful with what you commit to. That's fine.
No, I liked that.
I liked that too, and I liked the small goals, and I liked the being honest with yourself about what you're blowing off and why. That was cool.
Right.
It was fine. However, then she says, only commit to what you know you can accomplish.
Right.
And I was kind of like.
But the whole book is about you are not living up to your potential.
Right, exactly.
You're not living your full capacity.
Exactly. So then saying limit your goals to only what you know you can accomplish. Like, I think it's nice. Well,
because remember she did that one whole part about like if you're only going to accomplish what your practice.
So it's basically
your previous history, like
your previous experience.
So if you decide that you're going to run 30 miles and you've only ran 4, then you're probably going to peter out around 4 miles,
right?
Because that's your level. She talks about your level and kind of recognizing your level.
She does, but like here's somebody who grew up in a
small
town,
which is a deep topic.
That can be a very deep topic, but she proves that you don't have to stay at your level, and that's hunky dory. However, at no point does she actually really discuss how she does it.
Right.
And we'll talk about that in a second, but we can. Okay, so line number 3, chapter 3.
Oh my God, we're only on 3. I mean, I feel like this is like Groundhog Day. It's like again.
I know it is.
We're doing this again.
It's so crazy.
We're gonna have to do this much more quickly.
I know. So
I'm gonna have to drink more.
So you've got plenty. So I'm not good enough.
Right. So you get this feeling that she's talking. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't accomplish what they're supposed to accomplish because they don't think they're good enough.
Right. Okay. But this is where she uses the worst, like, you know, that the interview question where they say, what's your biggest weakness?
Yeah.
And
she takes it too far.
It's like, and you're like, my biggest weakness is that I'm a perfectionist and I work too much. And this bitch literally pulls that move.
Yeah. That's her whole, that's the whole chapter. I'm a workaholic. I'm a
recovering workaholic. And she's like, that's my big fault in life. And I'm like, that's the cheapest interview response in
because she's basically saying, bitches, I'm successful because all I do is work hard and you don't.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And she says that she is the Babe Ruth of knocking it out of the park in the lifestyle media sector. And I quote.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Well, that is a direct contrast to when she would come home in the evening and the kids were crying, and she was not good at that.
And she's screaming at them.
Yeah. She was not, that was not, but she was Babe Ruth in The Office.
And then, but this is interesting though. Then she says something. So once in a while she endears herself to us. So she said that she had this feeling that she needed to produce something in order to be lovable or loved. And I think that a lot of creatives have that too. Like, you're like, as a writer, if I don't write a certain number of paragraphs or if I don't publish a certain number of books, like I'm not going to be loved. Or as a painter, like if I don't finish that painting and it's not up to a certain level, like I'm not lovable and I'm not worthy. And I get that. Like that's really, really hard, I think, for people to live with, you know, like you feel like, you know, and you were talking once about a few episodes ago about when you were knitting at first and that you would undo your work. And I think that that's like a really good exercise because
I would.
It breaks that cycle of thinking I need to be productive to be lovable and successful.
Yeah, I would undo it and then I would do it again until, and that is kind of my personality. I would kind of undo things. I mean, when I was knitting socks, when I really wanted to knit socks well, and it's not an easy thing to knit socks. Right. And it seems kind of like a pointless thing. It's not like, you know, you can get socks at the store for way cheaper than you could knit them.
Anything. I mean, we know.
But for me, it was a mind challenge and reading a pattern, and I would knit them over and over and over until I conquered the pattern. And it, for me, it was that practice of, I mean, that really is a detail in the works of, which she doesn't really talk about. She kind of alludes to it, but she doesn't talk about how oftentimes you have to do something over and over, even if it's not something that's meaningful or useful to other people.
Exactly. Like she talks about achievement.
Tap into the experience of knowing that you can do that, you know?
Totally. But see, for her, the same sentence as saying that you don't need to be achieving these things, then she starts talking about how, you know, you keep getting bigger and bigger, and that, you know, it's kind of crazy because she's trying to dictate to people what to do, but she's not even seeing that this is what she's still doing, and it's a little crazy. So then she says that, you know, she started having vertigo and she had the facial paralysis.
Yes.
And then she's like, oh, I realized I needed to slow down.
She needed to stop working. Well, she was told by a homeopathic doctor, I think, that she needed to like slow down, and she was like, oh, that means death, pretty much.
Yeah, but then what else? How did she slow down? Well, how was she able to slow down?
She basically has the financial privilege to slow down. She has a very successful rich husband,
and she has a team of like 20 people who can pick up they can pick up the slack. So I'm kind of like, okay, that's lovely, hunky-dory, but like if you're the single mom whose, you know, paycheck is being used for absolutely everything for a family of two, or if you are
talking about me?
Yeah, I'm talking about you.
You're talking about me?
Talking about you just a little bit, yeah. Or if you're like the entrepreneur like me who's trying to bootstrap together something that's bigger than her that I've never done before. Like this is not the level that I was at, and I'm trying to build it. I don't have the resources, and I know that like would I get so much further if I was able to be like, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna invest and you know, pay people. Sure, I would, but that's just not who I am, and like I cannot beat myself up.
Well, there was a lot of built-in privilege in this story that is not acknowledged or talked about. You know, and I mean, it felt kind of arrogant and arrogant, you know, like I kind of felt like, I mean, there was a lot of privilege embedded in it that was not talked about. And I do think there's, you know, there is something to having a 2-family income and
double income.
I mean, there are a lot of benefits to that. You know, not that I've experienced them anytime in my current adult life, but I imagine that there are. You know, and so so there were a lot of things that's like, oh, that's easy for her to say. You kind of get that feeling of like, and I don't mean that in a victim type of way, because I don't feel like a victim at all. I mean, I feel like I very much have everything I need. Yeah,
but I feel that for a lot of creatives, like I think that they're more in the camp of, I mean, you know, unless they're extremely lucky, but a lot of creatives are not in that situation of having the financial, ease? And if so, then maybe open up your eyes and be like, yes, I can either step back or push a little bit more because I have the luxury of having somebody who's got my back. And that's great. But I think, whatever your unique situation is, I think but for her to tell us that like, oh, I did it this way, you're kind of like,
Well, she does kind of pat herself on the back continuously about how hard she works. And we're not arguing that she didn't work hard, but that isn't the only factor.
Right.
I think she's being a little bit tries to convince us
she talks about,
that's the only factor, and I call bullshit.
We call bullshit. She does this whole thing where she talks about the privilege that some people have who came up and she's like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. Oh no, that's George Bush, or oh blah blah blah. Oh no, that's Kim Kardashian, and it's like, girl, come on, stop. No. But okay, so chapter 4, the lie is I'm better than you. And we're like, that's funny because that's what you seem to sound like a little bit. And she talks about, this is where she talks about the famous shaving toes thing. And
that I had a hard time with that chapter. I didn't really.
Yes, she admits her deep dark secret, which is she shaves her toes. We're like, we don't give a fuck. The reason she feels so guilty about it is because
she made fun of a girl in high school that I guess confessed to her that she shaved her toes. And,
and my favorite thing being that she claims that that's the only time she ever
she goes through a whole Christian monologue of how she never made fun of anyone, which I have a hard time believing.
And that she was the one who'd be teased.
She was the one that was being made
because she was in drama club.
She was in drama club and she wore clothes from Goodwill. And she was a bookworm.
Oof. Embarrassing.
I did all of those things, and
so embarrassing.
People were scared of me.
Did you have hairy toes too? I mean, my God.
I still do.
Right? I mean,
I still do. I have hairy armpits, hairy toes. You don't see me like
we're maroon. That's fashionable. It's trendy now. It's trendy now.
Yeah.
But I kind of loved the fact that she kind of decides that she was super, like victim mentality because she was, this bookworm, drama geek, and.
Well,
she. And it's like, wow. Okay.
Somehow, I feel like she kind of made herself feel better about that whole thing. Like, I only did it this one time, and I feel bad about it. And
so then she's like, stop.
And I'm rectifying it because I'm writing about it. Tina.
Schmida, or whatever she called her. Whatever. So then she goes, and so the judging has to stop. She doesn't tell us why. And then she's like, stop competing with other people. Yet she's always telling us how she's running. This is your favorite part about the marathon, where she's like, I'm such a competitive runner, and I'm so awesome.
But then she completely strokes herself by writing about how nice she was, that it's like somewhere she was going to get her part in about how she was the one that did the right thing.
Right.
She is.
And then she's like, we have to police ourselves because, most of us are judgmental. It's like, okay, well, most of us maybe are. And I think, like, for creatives, I think that is something that does bear, thinking about is, are we being judgmental because we're actually these inner critics and that it's helping our creativity to see what somebody else is doing? Or are we judging out of a place of jealousy or,
I mean, sometimes I feel like, we compare and contrast is another way of saying judgment, make a judgment or discriminate between these two pictures or, I feel like we do that sometimes in order to make some kind of assessment about our own position, where we stand.
Completely.
And I mean, not sometimes, I feel like always. I feel like we're always trying to determine, like, where am I in the picture and where do I stand and where do I fit in?
Right. And it's not a pretty trait, but like we all do it. So at the same time,
I think it's a necessary thing. I think you kind of need to know, like, if you're in a certain, and I'm not saying that you should completely commit to those positions in society.
Yeah, we can keep changing. Like, that's the beauty of it. Like, so she brings up her past of blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But like, if as a creative, like, you can look at somebody else's art and be like, oh my God, I freaking hate that painting. That's hideous. Yeah. And then be big enough to be like, wow, but this one that this artist did, like, this is something. And if that leads to conversation directly, that's even better.
Right.
Like, hey, I wasn't getting, the whole thing about, your aesthetic or your style. Right. And now I'm liking this. Can you tell me what happened in your mind or in your process or whatever? And to think to yourself, what is it that I like, don't like? Because it really does help you to, determine. But I think her way of arriving at it and, saying that she's, got these non-judgmental friends and that she's, very not, I'm like,
well, I think it's naive to think that that's true. And, and it's just not true. It's a lie.
Right.
I mean, it is a lie, and it remains a lie.
It remains a lie, yes,
and
exactly.
It remains intact.
Yeah,
so.
It is. It never quite clears up. So this is another favorite chapter that we have, not favorite. Well, the lie is, loving him is enough for me. And this is the chapter where she says, I smooched a couple of guys in high school, but never went on a date.
She never had a date. And then she met her husband, and she goes through this whole romantic where she
was
sees
a booty
him.
call.
Yeah.
He was so much older. He was like,
that part,
I know, it's
the
so
booty
funny.
call
The
part.
Christian booty call, where she claims that she never slept with him. She was just a booty call who didn't sleep with him. It was awesome.
It wasn't that awesome, because I'd be like, where's the booty?
Yeah, where's the booty? There's no booty on the call. Like, there's, calling for booty.
Call of the wild.
And then she says, he's so much older than her, because he's like, what, 6 years old or something?
Yeah,
terrible.
It is really a lot older when you're 19.
Okay, cool. And
he dumps her. He breaks up with her because she won't give it up.
Because she won't give it up. And then he comes back, and she's like, you have to know your worth. You shouldn't. And she takes him back. I'm like, okay. And then the whole chapter is about knowing your worth. Every day is a chance to start over. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Be prepared. Have the strength.
Well, the lie is loving him is enough. Which basically, yes. I mean, it's like, we all know that loving him is not enough.
Right.
It's not enough. Like,
no.
You have to love yourself. You have you have to honor yourself. You have to, I mean, I don't want to like rewrite the chapter for her, but
I feel
Karena
like
would appreciate it if I did.
I would. I'd be so happy. I'd be like, write it. But I think that for her, like, I think that, maybe she's got a point, but like, I don't even see how this fits into the rest of the book.
Well,
like, again,
I do think a lot of women, and and I said this in past episodes, I think there's a lot of women that are invested in the patriarchy, and that, I do think that for some women, like, feeling like they're in this relationship with a man, and that that it somehow gives them worth just by being with this man, or loving this man, or him loving them back, or being in a relationship.
And actually, that's where we extended it to the whole creative thing, where we're like, if you're in this kind of toxic relationship with, whether it's your literary agent, or it's your mentor, or it's, a creative partner in a creative entrepreneurship or a startup, like, you can have those toxic relationships. And I think
it's not enough. It's not enough. I would agree with her that is a lie that we tell ourselves sometimes, like, and that, like, it's enough that, I'm a good parent. It's enough that I'm, it is but in this case, like with the relationships, like, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I have a literary agent, therefore I have this worth, and I need to do whatever they tell me, because that means that I'm a real artist, and that means that I finally, like, she's thinking, like, I finally have a boyfriend. Like, she's like, oh my God, that's enough. I'm finally dating.
Right. So if you have this mentor, you're like, oh my God, I'm finally like this real creative, that somebody's mentoring me, or, I'm in a creative partnership, I'm an entrepreneur, like, it's happening. Right. And it's focusing on that person, and I think that's fucked up. So I think that, sure, she's lucky that now that same person became
I just feel like she could have gone deeper. She could have gone in so many directions and related it to so many different people, and but she could have but it fell short. This like really, like early on naive relationship.
It was naive, was what it was. It talked to her naivete.
And maybe it it obviously appeals to a lot of people.
Clearly.
I'm really in the dark about this.
Us bashing her is not going to hurt her bank account, at all. So that's cool.
So anyway,
her next chapter is chapter 6.
So compelling and enthralling.
Right? So no is the final answer. Is this
this is where I made my victorious quote.
Yes. So go on.
No is a barrier to mediocrity.
Yes, no is a barrier to mediocrity. And so we thought, so she did this example where she's like, when I'm a keynote speaker, and we're
like, wow, that's so relatable. Like, everybody's a keynote. Yeah.
Oh my God, a keynote
Everyone's a keynote speaker.
Everyone. So she says that she is an expert at bouncing back and keeping on and fighting towards her goal. And that
she's an expert at bouncing back from rejection, specifically.
She is. So she says that that we should spend sleepless nights writing.
Yes, we should stay up till 1 a.m. writing our list of goals.
I thought you said we should be balanced.
No, she definitely earlier said that we should get more sleep and take care of ourselves. No, later. She says that later.
Yeah, we're confused. And then she said that she doesn't care about like the benchmarks of success, but she does make sure to tell us that she was an entrepreneur, top entrepreneur under 30 in Inc. magazine.
Yes, that was a very big
she talks about the lifetime of work that she'd put in by then,
and that she got excessive invites by college professors to speak at colleges.
Yes, and that all the students would ask her the same stupid
Oh my
question.
God, that one question.
The one question.
How did you do it?
The one question, how did you do it? And she couldn't tell him because she put in a lifetime at work at 30. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking kill her. But
yeah, lifetime is a little bit, but that was her lifetime.
At that point, but like you're, 8 years older than the college students. Like,
and you were not
shut up,
working on this when you were 15,
you
let's
weren't.
be honest.
You weren't. So basically she says that everyone but her takes no for an answer.
Yes.
So she doesn't.
She does say that.
So she gives an example, and this for creatives, and I think this example was decent. It's something to hear if you're a writer. So she wrote a shitty book about it's called Party Girl. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
But the Party Girl, spoiler alert, the Party Girl doesn't sleep with anyone, drink anything, do anything bad. And basically she wrote 10 pages, had this agent who's like, oh my God, it's so I could sell millions of these.
Well, before that, she wrote it and she had a chance
meeting with an agent.
Yeah. And they told her like, well, if you add some sex
No, so
scenes
this is the first. So her agent first said,
oh, okay, yeah. But you need to add some sex scenes.
So
okay.
no, not even. No. So she wrote 10 pages and the agent was like, I can totally do this. So she writes the rest of the book.
Yeah.
And, she basically like wrote those 10 pages in like a day, right? Mm-hmm. That's what she did.
Yeah.
High quality shit, which I think maybe this book, same thing. Anyway, and then she gets these meetings with publishers, which I'm like, yeah, you didn't get the meetings with the publishers because you're nobody. You got the, and she claims that this is all her work, but whatever. And the publishers then were like, you need to put more sex in it. And no, the publishers say, are you willing to change some things to get this published? She goes, I would do human sacrifice.
Human sacrifice, yes.
And then the publishers go, it's not going to take that. You just need to put more sex in it. And she was like, no.
Yeah, my grandmother won't be able to tolerate
sacrifice, sex. Yeah, you're right.
I would do sex way before I would ever do human sacrifice.
Right?
Way more fun.
I mean, that's what I think.
Way more fun.
Right?
Oh, I would do.
I've never tried human sacrifice, so I don't know if it's more fun or not. But I'm thinking legally, it's probably safer. Whatever. So she refused to do that.
It depends on who we're sacrificing.
Right? That too. Anyway, so
tasty morsels.
Tasty little morsels. But I think that, if you have this, if you're a creative and you've written something and you feel really strongly about this is my voice, this is my, sure, okay, don't change it, but then be accepting as
I think she just it really screwed with her moral concept of herself when they asked her to put an activity in there that she basically had never done herself.
Right, but then she has
that would be like, put more trapeze in your art.
Flying trapeze
it's like, I've never done trapeze.
Put more ayahuasca ceremonies in your knitting.
How could I do that?
Okay.
Oh, I guess I have to go to an ayahuasca ceremony.
Yeah, which is probably going to be a theme.
Which we'll probably do anyway. So,
probably.
I mean,
but so she says that instead, since she's so much better than us, she...
Chapter 3, I think.
She basically self-published her book and then started selling, 50, 100,000, really? And then she goes up to like 100,000 sold. And I'm like, bitch, come on. Really? Like, that doesn't
Somebody got a blowjob along the way.
Right? Like, that doesn't happen to most people. But I'm like, good for you. I don't know if it was luck, if it was something else. She claims her husband bought hundreds of copies. I believe it. And then she says that then the publishers came to her and, she did publishing for Christians is a thing.
They finally got it.
They finally got it. And so she never quit. And and that's fine. Like, as a creative, find out who your people are. Find out how you can get, take different paths to your success. Yeah, and
it was a good
message.
It was a good message.
Delivery, not into it. Okay, so my favorite next chapter flows right into it. I'm bad at sex.
Yeah.
I thought this was hilarious because I'm like, oh my God. Like, first she's not putting sex in her book and now she's saying a big lie is I'm bad at sex. And I'm like, I don't see where this has any place in like this self-help book. She's just mixing everything together.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I don't think she's been able to analyze it in the big picture, but I do think that whole topic of like bad at sex is like something to do with how we define ourselves as feminine women that are doing what we're supposed to be doing in the marriage bed. She talks about the marriage bed.
She does biblical quotes.
And and I think
Hebrews 13:4.
Yeah, and there's something about like being a good wife, being a good Christian wife.
I'm going to do a t-shirt that says Hebrews 13:4.
You should. And then we'll have my quote on the back.
It's like a lady in the streets freaking the sheets, I think is what the translation is.
Oh,
I think that's what it is.
Totally. I like that.
Right?
Well, so I think she's kind of tapping into this idea that this is, a good Christian wife is enjoying sex with her husband on a regular basis. And so
Right.
she talks about being really like having lots of sex. She doesn't allude that she's that into it, but in the beginning they were having lots of sex.
And then
then she had a couple kids.
Yeah.
And then she wasn't that into it.
No.
And she never said no to it.
Right.
But her
She's
husband stopped
continuing
asking for it. And I don't know if he was asking someone else or what was going on.
We were trying to figure this out. Yeah. So we were like,
so
oh,
a period of time went, they weren't having sex. And then...
Now they're like howler monkeys. Is that what she said they were like?
Yes.
Howler monkeys? I was like,
yeah,
that's
so
not
it went
an
from
image.
0
to howler.
No, it went from 0 to 60, from 60 to 0.
She said from rabbits, from 0 to rabbits.
Yeah.
From rabbits to 0.
Yeah,
and, from
then 0 to howler monkeys. That is, that is
that's the
big
chapter.
calibration.
So can we relate this to any creative thing? Because I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, I mean, so they have Sexy September. So basically...
Oh, every day, you're right. They have sex every day.
had sex every day for 30 days, which I feel like there's nothing harmful about that.
There's not, except she talks about the UTIs.
But I guess there's an embedded... So the thing is that there's some kind of embedded shame with sex. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that I think it's a natural activity that humans are compelled to do that is probably one of the most creative activities that you can do.
Well, literally, but I think she's actually seeing sex as another competitive thing that she needs to excel at. That's what I'm seeing in this chapter. And the whole Sexy September thing where they committed to having sex every day, that's almost like saying I'm going to write...
UTI TMI.
UTI TMI. But also I think it's kind of like saying I'm going to write every day. You know what? When you write every day, if you commit, if you say I'm going to write every
you
single
might
day,
actually write something
shitty.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway,
I mean, like,
you might write something shitty anyway.
Right?
And doesn't mean you're going to be good at writing.
Yeah, or it doesn't mean anything about being good or bad. It means that you just committed to doing it.
It's not good or bad. I guess that's the essence of what's like,
that's it.
I'm not good at sex is a lie. And I don't know.
So then she had her takeaways at the end of the chapter, which we said, and she said that she learned to be committed to her orgasm. And I was like, again, result driven. And that was awesome.
Thing.
Like, look at the fucking process.
Yeah.
Instead of being results oriented all the time. Do you not even see that this is what you did? You know?
Yeah.
She drives me nuts.
No, I mean it would be very challenging, I think, to number one, be her.
No shit.
And everything is so result driven that
all of it.
Like
it's exhausting.
She has to convince herself to have some kind of joy from it.
Yes, like I got feverish and stressed from like reading her book. It was horrible.
It was so funny.
Oh my god!
I wish you could see it.
You saw it happen.
So
You're like,
funny.
Seriously, she's like, "Are you okay? Are we gonna be able to like film this?" Because we were falling
exhausted
apart.
Okay, where are we in this?
Okay, I don't know how to be a mom. So we're gonna combine two chapters.
There's a couple chapters that were just like,
I don't know how to be a mom, and I'm not a good mom.
Yeah.
So that's
lies that we tell
really
ourselves.
Stupid. So we could just say, I don't know how to be a creative, and I'm not a good creative, or I'm not a good artist. And it's basically like, look at the actual evidence. Make friends with others who are in the same boat as you.
Which her takeaways at the end were good. They were good.
Find your tribe. Avoid some social media that's going to make you feel inadequate. Go, girl. We're gonna hand you the high five, y'all. High five.
High five.
Hey, girl. Hey. Okay, number 10. We should be further along by now.
I know, because
we should be further along.
Yeah, because I gotta go pick up my kids.
So that's the whole thing about feeling that you're too late to the game. That you should have written the Great American.
Oh, so that brings me to a book that actually I will talk about fondly. And I don't want to mix it up, but you know. There is a woman that we'll talk about on another date that is an actual concentration camp survivor.
Yes, incredible
Dr. Egger. Yeah, and she survived a concentration camp and wrote her book at age 91. So being further along
does not matter.
Not being further along than we think we should be is irrelevant. Time is. In the creative mind, it
shouldn't matter at all. It's like, I think that's just society that tells us that, you have to be this young, successful, this whole 30 under 30,
it's
young
all
entrepreneurs.
I call bullshit on that for sure.
It's hard. And she tries to tell us that, you shouldn't be focusing on that, but then she keeps focusing on the fact that she
focuses on it.
She focuses on it completely.
And I think it's more, I think this book is more about her talking about herself.
Very
what
much
did I
so.
say? It was like
It's me.
It's like the narcissist manifesto.
It totally is.
No, but I kind of felt like she was telling herself like, I'm a workaholic, and it's like don't strive so hard, but she does is strive.
But I was top entrepreneur under 30, in Inc. magazine, blah blah blah, and you're like, okay, and I run marathons and I do this. You're like, good for you.
What don't you do, bitch?
What don't you do, bitch? Except for
she doesn't drink fat wash Negronis. Apparently,
she does not.
She does like really low calorie lavender
bellinis. Yeah. Anyway, so then she says that God has perfect timing. So I'm like, you just said that we're the only ones who can make our thing, that there's no limits and that we can decide everything we do. And then you're like, no, God has your plan. And you're like,
well, she doesn't want you to squander your talents.
But
I don't think she cares what
I don't think she cares about our talents at all.
Us.
So then she has this thing about other people's kids are cleaner and more polite, but there's nothing about kids in this chapter. It's all about chaos theory, the butterfly effect, more butterflies.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
And then she says that caterpillars are awesome. She literally writes that. And we're like, this is so awesome. Period. Caterpillars are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then she says that she needs friends like her.
Yeah, which she describes as entrepreneurs, parents that have boys.
Yeah, all of those. White women.
Another one.
White women.
Christian,
white women. And boxed wine. And then she's like, no, but I don't really mean wine. Because at first we're like, oh, boxed wine, whatever.
We're like, hey, girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey. And then, no, she was like, no, but maybe your boxed wine.
Not really, not kidding, but kind of not kidding.
Maybe your boxed wine is running 4 miles on the treadmill.
Yeah, maybe it's baking cookies. Yes. Maybe, yeah.
So then she says the next lie is you need to make yourself smaller. Yeah, she keeps talking about weight loss and her tiny little tattoo.
That whole make yourself, it was like a thing that her dad would say, little girl, you need to get a clue, little girl, blah, blah,
she's
blah.
like, you're not a little girl. Okay, this is something where I think that many times as creatives, some people who are creatives feel so vulnerable that they have this, and you have this childlike wonder. You have the childlike creativity and sense of fun, but a lot of creatives get stuck in that thing of being childlike to a fault, where they're irresponsible, where they're like, I don't know, and they infantilize themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that that's true. So I think that where she's like, you're not a little girl, you're a freaking adult. Pull up your big girl or big boy panties and go for it.
PM it if
you want. PM them if you like, because she's very into the bang. We don't care. But I think that that's kind of a good lesson. Yeah. I don't like the way she says it, but I don't like it the way she says anything. So whatever.
I know. It was pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay. Next chapter. The lie is I'm gonna marry Matt Damon. And this is
so this is actually the best chapter, actually.
Where she writes about the Louis Vuitton speedy bag that she wants.
No, this one is extremely superficial, but however, she kind of does talk about that, that manifestation possibility thing.
Imagining your dreams in detail.
Yeah. And how she was obsessed with Matt Damon.
But then you said something very useful, because she was like, oh yeah, so my dream about Matt Damon took me to California, took me to my career. Yeah. And even though I didn't marry Matt Damon, I did get to see Matt Damon. But you said, and I quote, you said you can always connect the dots in the past.
Well, I didn't say that. No, actually, Steve Jobs said that in his graduation speech at Stanford.
Well, you paraphrased Steve Jobs.
And I thought that stuck with me a lot, because, I do think it's important to, and which she does in this moment, which is very useful when you are trying to assess where you are in a particular space, is that you can connect the dots in the past. You can look like, oh, okay, instead of looking at it and going like, oh, I fucked that up, you can look at like, oh, well, if I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have done that. And, you can look at it in a more positive light.
Right. So I like that. So as creatives, we can both kind of look aspirationally,
Let's throw this bitch a bone, okay?
Let's throw her a bone. You're right. Let's throw her a fat washed bone.
She already has a lot of bones.
Right? I mean, she so if you can see if you can see what you want, if you can see the goal, that definitely makes it a lot easier to go towards it, and then have the steps there. She talks about vision boards, which you and I love.
We've always done vision boards. I mean, like, we have that cheesy.
We're cheesy.
We have that cheesy NorCal thing. I mean, we'll make fun of you all day long.
Oh, we will.
But we'll make a vision board about it.
I'll make the best fucking vision board.
Yeah,
I did best vision boards under 30, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So she says, write it down. And it's like, good, yeah.
Actually, I have a story about vision boards. Oh. So I did this vision board probably 6 or 7 years ago about, that's probably my daughter telling me, no, it's my neighbor.
Good.
No, but I did this vision board probably 5 or 6 years ago. and my friend had come over and like feng shuied my apartment, and she was like,
I love feng shui as a verb.
To attract
a man.
Yeah. And yeah, specifically I was dating a man, and I kind of wanted, like, if he was going to stick, I wanted to make it stick. So I did this whole cheesy thing with her where she brought her compass over and we feng shuied the apartment. And she was like, okay, you have to put like in this one area in the apartment, you have to put like, you know, I had done a vision board, and she's like, you have to put yellow, you have to put like things that are coupled together. Yeah. So I did all these things, and then sure enough, I get like kind of locked into this relationship, which I've been in for about 7 years now.
Oh my God.
And so, you know, Alex and I are doing Shangri-La. So we like, you know, I was like, well,
Shangri-La's, their apartment is getting overhauled into their own personal Shangri-La.
Yeah. So Shangri-La is this one area, and it happens to be in the same area
in that quadrant. And there's yellow there.
So the weird thing is that every time Paul would come over, he would sit like right under the little temple of the relationship thing. So the other day he comes in. He comes in and he was like, whoa, the wall's really empty. Because I was like, oh, I took everything down because it didn't work. And I was like, I'm going to do it.
You guys are fighting.
We have been fighting.
Holy shit.
For days.
Since you took it down.
Yeah. Since I took it down.
See,
it has been complete mayhem. Like,
that is.
And he walked in and he was like, wow, such an empty wall. Wow.
Micah.
I mean, I even consulted my feng shui friend, and I was like, do you think it could have anything to do with the fighting?
You didn't tell me that, and it's so true. I mean, see, we're so basic.
But then I thought, well, shit, I need to like make something like the next level of our relationship. I need to create something.
Yes, you do.
But then I'm like,
it's an opportunity.
You can't really pull it out of your ass in one day.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I have full confidence in you.
So anyway, so the vision board story.
We love that.
I just thought I'd
So we're into the vision boards.
Little anecdotal story.
Right, and then she says, and she admits, she goes, whether or not the dream comes true is not the point, but it's moving towards it. And I like that.
Well, it puts your mind is focused. Her mind was focused on LA. It was focused on Miramax, working at Miramax. It was focused on, and, you know, at this certain vibration. And I believe in that shit.
I believe in it too.
You know?
So we're going to give her, we're nice. So Fiona's not happy with it, but we'll give her that. Line number 14, I'm a terrible writer. And I was like, we agree. We're totally with you on that.
We're like, that's the only one that you're not lying about.
Yeah. But then she says art and creativity are subjective, and so don't dwell on it. Like, find your people, find your audience who's going to like what you have to say. Stop reading the reviews. But then she talks about this review that, like, she got a 2-star review, and she was so, like, salty about it. And I was like, bitch, you got more than 1 2-star reviews, and we're going to give you probably a review. So just saying, like, it's true. Come on, don't worry. It's true. Don't worry about the reviews. However, sometimes when something's shitty and you get a lot of reviews, like, think about it. If somebody who's supportive says something about your work, maybe give it a thought. Don't make it your everything.
Right.
But, you know, okay. She said that she was just stringing sentences together, and I was like,
obviously. Anyway, get to the point.
Number 15, I will never get past this. This is where she talks about her brother's suicide. She talks about Tony Robbins. This is the shortest chapter in the book. And we were like, so sure, you will get past anything that happens to you. Sure. But the fact that she glossed over the most serious thing that ever happened to her, I'm like, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of where the nuggets are. Mm-hmm. She decided to go like very like surface layer.
Yeah.
I like deeper experiences. So
right.
Not always, I guess. Yeah. I mean, like sometimes you just want to have like.
Sure. This was a very kind of fast foodie, like, you know, like whatever. So then she starts saying another lie is I can't tell the truth. And then she talks about her adoption story, which was so convoluted we couldn't understand it.
Yeah,
like she adopted these kids. We couldn't understand anything. And believe me, we're not stupid. Like, we read a lot of books. We couldn't understand anything. But she says, seek out truth tellers. And I was like, well, that's kind of interesting that as a creative, seek out the truth tellers in this world. And, you know, tell your truth and find people who will accept the truth and tell their truth too. Right. And that's great.
I like that.
And then she talks about being defined by your weight, which was super stupid because she talks about how her parents' divorce and learning to drive led to emotional eating. Then she caught mono from a water fountain.
I call bullshit on that.
Well, like,
you don't get mono from a water fountain.
And then she talks about an iguana looking into
You get mono from making out with boys.
Yeah, I know. She did. And then she talks about this iguana by her pool.
I wasn't paying any attention.
Again,
no,
we were delirious.
I was not paying any attention at this point. Like, I was like, what?
It made no sense.
I was texting at this
It made
point.
no sense. And I know. And so then she talks about, so her takeaway though is that she has these mantras. I'm like, okay. Mantras are okay, except her mantra was like her own mantra that came from the book that she wrote that she was still pissed that she got like 2-star review on. And I'm like, you're kind of like, girl, stop with your emotional, So then her other lie, and this is the best one, is I need a drink. And we're like, girl, that's not a lie.
We're like, finally, she's telling the truth. Finally. like we had to get to the last chapter.
Almost the last. But we're like, yeah, we do maybe need a drink. But she talks, but you're right. Like, you don't need anything. Don't lie to yourself that anything is required.
Right.
But we really felt like we needed a drink at this point.
I needed a drink after that.
Then she has something saying there's only, her number 19 lie is there's only one right way to be. We all know that's not true, but again, surface. And her whole takeaway of how she dealt with it was to change churches.
What?
And I'm like, but maybe what we can look at that as a creative is change your creative circle.
Change your community.
Change your creative production.
Yeah, it is all about perspective. Yeah. I can relate to that.
Yeah, so shake it up, change your perspective and see that there are different ways of being. Like, you don't need to be high-low. Like, we keep bitching at her for being basic. But you know what? There's not just one way to be. Like, we're a little bit on the more, I'm a little bit more pop culture, but I'm still, if I look at it truthfully, a little bit more on the intellectual snob thing.
And maybe there's a lot more people that need that basic,
I think there are.
basic shot. You know, like, it's a time in life thing, I think.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we talk about with Creative Happy Hour, where we're like, okay, we're all about, and I think maybe we need to open our eyes that maybe a lot more people out there are looking for that basic injection of feel-good, rah-rah kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there on our intellectual
and we're all like negative Nelly.
We are. Whatever. Cheers to that.
Okay, we're glass half empty today.
A little bit. We are.
A whole book full.
Exactly.
Okay, so can we get to the punchline of this book?
Yeah, we've got two more chapters. There's only one right way to be. We said that, so we didn't do that. And the last one is I need a hero. And you don't need a hero. I need a hero. We should put that damn song in our...
I'm looking out for a hero.
Exactly. And so...
I don't know the words.
The takeaway is you don't need a hero, but I think that you do need an example, or even if that is like the person in your dreams that you want to be.
Well, you need someone to look up to. You need someone that's vibrating a little bit higher than you, perhaps, that you look up to give you a little bit of a higher standard so that you can aspire. I agree with that. Like, that's common sense.
Right, but she's saying you don't need a hero. I'm like, well, yeah, but you want a mentor, you want somebody to look up to.
Oh, she's saying you don't need a hero.
Yeah, that's what she's saying. Yeah. She's saying the lie is I need a hero. And I'm like, girl, wash your fucking face. No, so that's where
you don't need a hero.
No.
I do think that we do need inspirational mentors in our life.
We need positive people. We do. More positive than us.
And we need
to look up to.
We need to know that people went before us. We need to know, like, well, what do you do when you get pregnant? You're like, you hang out with people, you talk to people that have already had kids.
Who've already done it. And so they are kind of...
And you're like, oh, they're still alive.
They're still alive.
Exactly. I don't know about you, but when I was in childbirth, I was like, I'm not going to live through this.
Right, because you know what? So an interesting story about that very quickly is that when I had my first child and I was like super like postpartum hell.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who'd already had kids a while before, and she was a much more valuable person for that than the one who was going through the same thing as me. Because the one who was going through the same thing, we were kind of like trying to survive, and each one of us thought the other one had the answers, and neither one of us did, and it kind of...
You guys were loopy.
We were loopy. So, okay, this is the final. So we wondered where Girl Wash Your Face comes from. So, yeah. So we want to show you how this is kind of all over the place. We're going to read you the last paragraph of this book, so you don't need to buy it. Girl, get a hold of your life. Stop medicating. Stop hiding out. Stop being afraid. Stop giving away pieces of yourself. Stop saying you can't do it. Stop the negative self-talk. Stop abusing your body.
Stop it.
Stop it. Stop putting it off for tomorrow or Monday or next year.
Yeah.
Stop crying about what happened. And take control.
Stop being a victim.
Yeah. Stop and take control of what happens next. Get up right now. Rise up, in italics. Rise up from where you've been. Scrub away the tears and the pain of yesterday and start again. ... Girl, wash your face.
Bam.
Bam.
Cheers.
Cheers, you guys.
Cheers, Rachel Hollis.
See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe because we're going to be bitching a whole lot about
there's
other
a lot more drinking,
in the future.
thinking, and bitching going on.
Book Passage, thank you so much. We'll be returning this tomorrow.